I have you. I'm going to have you follow along and look at some things on Office. So if you could have both Microsoft PowerPoint and Microsoft Word popped up, and we'll just kind of flip back and forth to those. I'll show you, I'll display my screen, and then after I show you how to do stuff, I'll give you like a minute or so to just for you to find it and play with it on yours, just so you get familiar with that. We got 12 to 15 different things to go through that are new. Some are really cool. And so let's find out what's new in Office 2019. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. All right. So we're going to go through the new Office 2019, which is on all of your laptops and you have available to you now. And these are the things that we're going to cover today: inserting icons, slide zoom, digital ink, learning tools, new chart types, how to collaborate, adding audio cues, an accessibility checker. The editing PDFs is now easier. Doing 3D models, making sure you know how to remove backgrounds, and it's a better removal system now. And then we'll end with something really cool called motion, which is a type of transition. Okay. All right, so let's start with the fun one, which is inserting an icon. Let me pop up Microsoft Word here real quick. Let me show you, and then I'll switch over and say you go ahead and play with it yourself. So inserting icons is going to be under Insert now, and it's going to be next to Pictures, Online Pictures and stuff, and there's a little button here called Icons. You can put this in a text document. You can put it on a PowerPoint. It's loading icons. Usually doesn't take as long. All right. Okay. You know, these meetings never go right. You want them to, they're always something. Okay. So they have all kinds of icons now available to you. There we go. So they've got all the categories over here to the left, or you can search specifically for something you want. And when you find an icon that you want to place in, you just click on it, insert it in. You can resize it, obviously. It'll pop up in the Format tab so that you can change the color if you want. Of course, you know, under Graphics Fill, you have other kind of fill colors and things that you can choose from. You can do all of the other effects that you want. You can bubble it, make it bubble up. You can do glow. You can do all kinds of cool stuff to it, just like you would traditional stuff. You take the icon, you rotate it. The key thing to remember about the icon is that you'll need to use the layout option and click on tight whenever you want to be able to move it wherever. Click on tight. And then you can move it wherever. Things are really funny today. Then you can move it and place it wherever you want. Okay. And so you can use those in PowerPoint. You can use those in Microsoft Word. You can have whatever size you want. And there are a lot of icons. So go ahead and click on yours, insert icons, and I'll give you like a minute to play around with different icons. If along the way, as we're going along, again, as I said in my meeting earlier today and yesterday, is when you're all muted, it is extremely odd for me to not. So if you ever have any questions or anything, please feel free to just pop in and ask me a question, okay? Otherwise, you'll just stay muted and we'll just go from there. So that is the icons, which you can do on Microsoft Word, and they're kind of cool. All right. I'm going to delete those because we'll come back to Microsoft Word in just a second. All right. Our next thing that we're going to do is called Zoom. This is kind of cool, and we're going to do some PowerPoint. So here's what I'd like you to do. Watch me first. Pop up PowerPoint, and then on the very top up here with the choices they have, the third one over here says Welcome to PowerPoint, and you're going to click on that and go create and bring that up. Go ahead and do that real quick. And then as soon as you have that done, come back to my screen. Sometimes if you put a PowerPoint presentation together and you want to present it to everybody, you may not necessarily want to go through your presentation in order. You may sometimes just want to have all these slides available and then just pick randomly which one you want to show, or somebody asks a question about a topic, and maybe you've got a slide for that topic and you want to go directly to that. And instead of using your arrow key to advance to it and stuff, you can use something that we call Zoom. So what we do is you're going to go up here to Insert, and then over here in the middle there's a button called Zoom, and we're going to do what's called a summary zoom, the first one. And I'm going to go through here and select, in this case, all of my slides. You can go through and select which ones you want. You don't have to use all of your slides, but I'm going to select them all. And then I'm going to go Insert, and it's going to create a new slide here with kind of like a thumbnail view of all my slides. Okay, I'm going to resize that just a little bit bigger here. But here's what's cool. When I go to my presentation mode and I present, now if somebody says, they ask a question about something, but that's on slide 5, I just go down here and I click on slide 5 and it zooms right into it. And then when I'm done with that, I just click again and it goes back out, and then I'm talking and somebody asks, oh, well, that's on slide 3. And I can zoom into slide 3. So it just gives you another option of how you go through your slides and show them. Okay, go ahead and go back to yours. It's Insert, Zoom, select all your slides, and then try that out, see if you're successful. And you'll notice it puts it up here at the top of your presentation. It puts it at the very first. And this one was called Summary Zoom. They have a couple other different types, section and slide zoom. So that's a cool little tool they added. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close my PowerPoint, and I'm going to start up a new PowerPoint this. Because I'm going to use a blank one here a little bit later. Okay, let's go to our third thing to talk about. And that's going to be digital ink. And I'd like to do this in PowerPoint. You can do it in both, but it's a little bit easier in PowerPoint. So I'm going to go to my PowerPoint. I'm going to do a blank presentation. I'm going to do my layout as blank. And then what I'm going to do is I have to add this tab. So let me show you how to add it, and then I'll have you add it real quick, and then I'll show you what it does. To add this tab, you're going to go up here to the very top where there's a drop-down menu on the quick access toolbar, and you'll go down to the very bottom and click on More Commands. My PowerPoint is sleepy today or something. Everything is slow. Okay, now on More Commands here, we're going to go up to the top, choose Commands From. That's not where we're going. I'm sorry. That's not where we're going. I'm going to go, I'm sorry. Over here to the left, I'm going to click on Customize Ribbon. I'm sorry. After we click on Customize Ribbon, over here to the right-hand side, you'll see almost everything is checked except for this one called Draw. So you'll come down there and click Draw and push OK. All right, so everybody do that real quick. You'll go to More Commands on the drop-down, and then click on Customize Ribbon, click the little draw box. After you push OK, you should have a drawing tool up here at the very top. Tab. I want you to click on the Draw tab. Okay, come back to mine and watch this. This is cool. So you need to draw or something on your slide, or you need to draw something in your Word. There's two things you can do. You can freehand draw if you're good at drawing with your mouse, or by the way, your laptops, these new laptops are touchscreen, so you can actually draw with your finger. Or you just need a shape and you don't want to go hunting for that shape, so you just kind of try the basic thing and then let PowerPoint or Word figure out the shape for you. So let's start up here with these tools. You have the pen, and then you have a pencil, you have a highlighter, you have a marker, and every one of these that you click on, you have a drop-down menu. You can change the thicknesses of them. You can change the colors. They even have cool little effects down here that you can choose from, more colors. And each one of those has different drop-down options for you to pick from. I'm going to pick the last one here, and I'm just going to pick a blue color and make sure it's thick. And then I want to make sure that right here on the far left, I'm on Draw button. And then I just take my mouse over here and I just draw whatever. When you finish with your shape or whatever you draw, if you go back up and select on Draw again, you now have your object. And you can resize it, you can rotate it. So if you're good for hand drawing and you need to draw something like that, you can draw it, and there you go. Okay, that's one way. The other way is to click Draw, and then click this button over here called Ink to Shape. And let's say I need a rectangle, so I just kind of really quick draw a rectangle. It wasn't very good, but notice that it figured out what I wanted there. Okay, let me do another one quick here. Let's say I'm horrible at drawing perfect circles, but you know what? I just get pretty darn close. Well, I got sort of close. And then you can get your oval or circle and go that route. Now it doesn't do every shape. I've tried to draw a car and it doesn't figure that out. I've tried to draw like, hey, this is a star, right? And it won't figure it out. But most shapes that if you just need a traditional shape, it will figure out traditional shapes for you. Okay. And sometimes you can do kind of okay, you get 5 sides and save everything on and stuff like that. That's the ink to shape. You have to have that selected if you want those shapes to actually happen. Otherwise, you just freehand draw. It does have an eraser tool on it, so if you just draw and you're like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that part, you can go down here and go like small eraser and erase the parts that you don't want. It has another cool feature, which I kind of just was playing with, called ruler. So if you're wanting to draw real perfect ones, you click on ruler and move it in. You have 2 options. You can use your scroll on your mouse, your scrolling thing, to rotate it, or you can actually touch the screen. And if you touch the screen with your finger, one finger, you move it. If you touch it with 2 fingers, you can rotate it. And if you touch the screen with 3 fingers, it specifically rotates at a certain degree every time you move it. That's the touchscreen feature of your thing. But then, of course, the ruler is to help you when you draw lines. You just come down here, draw a line, and it's straight, and you've got that straight line and stuff. It's just kind of one of those cool things. Let me show you the last thing, and then I'll give you a little chance to play with that. Okay. And the last thing has to do with, I'm going to turn my ruler off, is with some math. And I think I saw Miss Kennedy was here. Here, this is kind of cool. You need to have your formula up there. So I'm going to do it with my finger on the thing, and I'm just going to do 2x plus 7 equals 18, and go insert, and it just puts it follows along with what you're doing, and it does, and then gives you all these math stuff up here as far as things to do. So it's kind of a cool way of just doing a little math stuff. Okay, all right, you go and click on your draw button on your PowerPoint and play around with it for a little bit. If you have any questions, ask me. Is that a cool tool to you? Somebody can jump in and say that's cool or no. All right. Well, let's go to the next item. The next item is called Learning Tools. And this is kind of neat. It is actually better on the online versions of Word. We're pretty much just going to use it in Word. But this would be excellent for young elementary people reading things and actually training them a little bit on how to read. It might be something that if you've got some kids who need to read at a certain pace, but they need a little bit of guidance. They need to be watching what they're reading and stuff. This is a cool little feature. So this is in Microsoft Word. And what I'm going to do is go File, New, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this resume right here. And so you have a document and it's got information in it and stuff. And so you want a little bit of help. You go to View. And then over here on the left of View, it's called Learning Tools. And it pops up. And you can change the width, or the student can change the. Okay, students can't because this is not on their Chromebooks. So this is technically for you. I'm checking in whether students have Office 365 available or not. We're finding out about that. But this is primarily for you right now. Or you could have a student come up and look at something. But you can change how far apart you want, whether you want wide, moderate, or how far they're looking as far as distance. You can change the page color from normal to sepia to inverse. And then your text spacing, do you want it normal? Do you want it a little bit farther apart? And then if you do the syllables, it'll put little dots in between words to show you where you're supposed to say syllable. So that helps with reading. And then you can choose the read aloud.
First name, last name.
And then you can choose the reading speed and the voice of who you want to read. And then you just push play. And so it goes through and it reads. Let me get down to a sentence. So again, you can change the speed, the voice, and it's a really cool tool used a lot for elementary, but I just wanted to show you that that's available. It's under View. Okay. All right. Next one, there are some new chart types in Excel. So if you use Excel at all, I'll just show you these real quick. The charts are under Insert, and the different kinds of charts that they have are all right here. Let me just show you from the slide. They've got this new round type of chart. They got a really cool map chart where you can actually figure out what kind of data you want to put in and import it in, and it'll create a world map chart with all that data. There's some little different kinds of I don't know what these are called, this kind of chart. There's a different thing. These are new, and some of them are a little bit sophisticated, but they do have some newer type little funnel down chart and things like that they've added. Those aren't very exciting, but I just wanted to get Excel in there for a shout out because it doesn't have a lot of other tools. There are some things called Splicer and Timeline and stuff they added, but you really got to be kind of into Excel using that quite a bit for that. All right, that's all I'm going to say about Excel. Okay, collaboration is now kind of an option. If you go to Microsoft Word and you look up in there in the top right, there is a share button now. The only thing is this is going to go to OneDrive, and you'll have to set that down up through OneDrive, and then you could share it with somebody else that you want to collaborate with. It's not nearly as good as Google collaboration, where you're doing live and everything, but you can collaborate with somebody and you can both work on the same document, and you do that through the OneDrive account. Okay, and that's the collaborate button up here, the share button up here at the very top. So that's something they're trying to keep up with Google. Now, it's a whole lot easier if you have the Office online, the 365 online, then it's real easy for you to collaborate. Okay, I don't know if you've been noticing when I click on things, sometimes you hear these little blurps and bleeps and things like that, and it could either be cute to you and you enjoy it, or it could be extremely annoying. But let me show you how you get to that. So you got to do it, I think, for both. So go to Word and go to File, and go all the way down to the bottom and click on Options. And on Options, by the way, I want to show you something right here in the middle of Options. Over here to the right, you can personalize your copy now. You can change the Office background to something different. And then you have choices of dark gray, black, white, or colorful as far as your theme goes. But the one we're looking for is right here called Ease of Access. And when you click on that, there's this button up here at the top that says Feedback Options, Provide Feedback with Sound. And you have a couple of different types of sounds, modern or classic, and then you push it. And stuff like copy, if I go Control C, and then I want to paste it, it'll make a sound. And then cut and different things and different stuff that you do. So go do that real quick. It's File, Options, and then it's under Ease of Access. And then I think you have to do that for PowerPoint separately also if you want to do it as well. Well, it looks like it. So maybe you just have to do it once. A lot of little clicky sounds. If those are annoying to you, then obviously you don't want that, but they're just kind of there for fun and stuff like that. Okay. All right, next is the accessibility checker. This is if you're primarily going to make something from Word or PowerPoint and you're going to put it online. You're going to post it on Canvas or you're going to post it online on a web page or something like that. And you want to be able to check it to make sure everybody can read it okay, that the colors work, that all that stuff. So I'm going to go to Word and I'm going to go New. And I'm just going to click one of these cover whatever things down here. And that's going to be when you get finished and you want to check it, you're going to go to File. And then right here is a big button called Inspect Document, check for issues. And you can check accessibility there. And it'll pop up over here to the right and it'll tell you, it'll give you some warnings about, well, you might want to check this or that because it's kind of hard to read or this, that, and it tells you why to fix it. It tells you steps how to fix it. And it's just, you know, things, a lot of people will forget stuff that put red on blue or blue on red, things like that, or it's hard to read text font because it's too light or something. And this will check it before you post the line, called the accessibility checker. All right, you can edit PDF files a whole lot easier now in Word. Close this. So I open up a blank Word. I want to be able to take a PDF file, which is not editable. I want to bring it into Word so that I can edit. Now, most of the time in the past when you would do that, it would just, it's just horrid. It would be all over the place and it wouldn't look anything like it. It's still not perfect if you don't have a PDF editor, but it's actually not too bad. So I'm going to go to my desktop here, and I've got a PDF file here called Creating and Linking Videos. What it'll do is it'll pop up and say, hey, okay, you got a PDF file. Do you want me to try to convert that? And I say, okay. And depending on how much stuff you have and speed, I'll go through. And in this case, it looks like it did a pretty good job. And so I go enable editing and I'm ready to go. And now I can go in here and click on things and edit things. In this case, this was a picture right here. So I can resize that picture and move it. And I think there was, you can backspace and put spaces and do it. Now it's pretty good. Not bad. I don't see a lot of mistakes. There's a few little mistakes that you can go through and edit, but not too bad. It is now an editable Word document, and you took that PDF and converted it over. So a lot better in Office 2019 now. 3D models. Let's go to PowerPoint. And I'm going to go to a blank slide here, and I'm going to insert 3D models. I'm going to go from online sources. You can do this in Microsoft Word as well. And it'll bring up all these different 3D models. And I'm going to click down here on Toys. I'm going to click on this airplane, and I'm going to insert this 3D model. It's going to bring it in. Now, this is a graphic, and this is a graphic that you're using for graphic purposes. And you can resize it and move it where you want. But if you put your mouse right here on the center circle part, you can now rotate it And you can use this model whatever shape position you want. And then when you let go, it's in that position. So maybe you want it facing, I'm going to put this here and resize it. And so that's a 3D model effect. Kind of cool. And then you'll have the format tab up here at the top. So some of them already have designs. You can arrange them and things like that, change the size and stuff like that. So go do that real quick on yours. Insert 3D model and find something you like. Okay, so that's kind of neat. And we're actually going to come back to use that in just a minute. All right. Background remover. Some people didn't know they could do this. Let's do this in Microsoft Word. So let's go to a blank Word. And I'm going to insert an online picture. And I am going to search for, just going to see what happens when I type landscape. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And I'm going to choose, let's all do that right now. Go type, insert online picture and type landscape. And we are going to use this picture right here of the arch. I'll leave that up so you can all see that real quick. There's the arch, and we're going to insert that picture in. All right, great picture. You want to use this for something. But I want this to be kind of cool because I would like to put maybe my class name right here under the arch where the sky is. So I want to remove all of the sky out of the picture. By the way, this is a great way, you know, if you've got that one picture of you and that person that you really didn't want to be in your picture and you'd like to take them out of the picture. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to remove this, the sky from both up here at the top and below the arch. So what we do is we go up here to the Format tab, and all the way over to the left is a button called Remove Background. It will try to guess right off the bat what you're wanting to keep. Everything that you see is highlighted in this pinkish purple color is what it's going to get rid of. So yeah, it didn't do a very good job right here. So what I have to do is go up here and click on this box that says Mark Areas to Keep. And then I just start drawing a line through all of the stuff that I want to keep. And it will try to do its best to figure out, okay, so you're wanting to keep that, and it'll find the edges. It's supposed to find the edges really well. And you just kind of draw lines through it. You can change kind of mine's thick right now. Yeah, getting pretty close. Little spots up here at the top that it's having a hard time distinguishing. So we'll just do the best we can there. Okay. Okay, and then you're like, okay, well, I've got all the areas I want to keep, but I still see some sky here that I don't want. So then you go to Mark Areas to Remove, and you drag your line through the Mark Areas to Remove. And you pretty much, and you got to check again to make sure that you've got all the areas you want to keep. Well, this is really hard through here. It's having a hard time. Boy, that top part. So I think I'm just going to have to stay with what I got there. So, all right, so go ahead and mark your areas to keep and mark your areas to remove. I gave you a really hard picture right off the bat. I'm sorry. Sometimes it takes a little bit of trial and error, but you just keep drawing those lines, keep making sure you're on the right button up at the top. And if you get upset, you can click discard all changes and start over. When you get finished, there's a green check mark up there called Keep Changes. And click on that. And now you have removed the background, and now you can use it how you want. With make this in the tight wrapping so that I can move it wherever I want, and then I could use it like that. So that's kind of cool. Resize it, and you remove the background. Okay. All right. So I hope that's cool. And we did that in Word, and it's probably a little bit easier to do and better to do in PowerPoint. By the way, let's say I throw this in there because most people don't realize this. When you're working on your Canvas pages and you're looking for, you're like, I wish I could develop a cool title or a a cool picture bar up at the top or whatever. PowerPoint is actually an excellent graphic design creator. I think it's one of the best out there, and as long as you have it, it's free to you. So yeah, you can use Canva and some other things if you want, and that's great. They do a good job. But let me just show you real quick. I need a picture for my Canvas page, and so I'll go here and I go to Insert, and I go to Online Pictures, and I'm just going to click over here and get this airplane picture right here, and I bring that in, and then maybe I just want the plane. I don't want everything else. So I'm going to remove the background thing like we did, and I keep all the areas that I want. And I go through this whole process. Again. Is it? I think that's what I said. I don't know. And then, and then I keep it. Okay, and here's what's cool. I'm doing this in PowerPoint. Now all I need to do is put my mouse on the picture, right click, and go save as picture. And just save that to your desktop or whatever. Okay. And when you save it, let me show you real quick. Now it's on your desktop, and it's a PNG, which means it doesn't have a background. It's not a white box. It's just this object. So when you bring that into your Canvas page, it would be just that object. Or whatever you decide to make in PowerPoint, whether you decide to make insert word art, you want to create real cool titles. When you get finished with them, you just put your mouse on them and right click on it and go save as picture. And then you create a graphic of it. Okay, so PowerPoint is a great little quick thing. Plus, you can do shapes and add text to them and do all kinds of stuff, and all of that you save as a picture, and that's free for you today in case you didn't know that. Okay. Last thing has to do with this morph motion, and it's really kind of a cool thing. So we're going to walk through this together, and we're going to do it in PowerPoint. So everybody pop up a PowerPoint for me. A blank one. And what I'd like for you to do is I would like for you to create 3 slides all in the layout blank. So you can just create one and then right click on it and go duplicate, and right click, go duplicate. All right. Okay, so on the first slide, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to insert an icon. So let's go insert icon. And we are going to go to arrows. And we're going to choose the third one. Go insert. I am going to make that bigger. I'm on the Format tab up at the top. I'm going to change its color. Let's change it to red. And I am going to drag that up to the top right corner like so. All right, can you do that for me? Okay. Now, what we're going to do is on your arrow, if you still have it selected, I want you to right click on it and go copy. Come to the second slide and right click, paste it. And I would like you to move it down toward the middle. Go ahead and do that. And then go to the third slide and right click, paste it. And we're going to stay back at the top, but we're going to move it over here to the left. Like that. Leave a little space to the left of it. Okay, and I forgot to do this. Go back to the second one and click on the arrow and go back up to format and change its color to a blue. And then go to the third one and click on it and change its color to green. So the first one's red, second one's blue, third one's green. All right, when you got that done, go back to the slide one. I'm showing you this whole process first, and then after you see it happen, then maybe you can think about how you could use it for a presentation or something. Okay. Let's go insert, and we're going to go 3D models from online source, and we are going to go to animals, and we are going to select this chimpanzee. So go ahead and do that. Go select insert 3D models chimp. All right, I'm going to resize my chimp a little smaller. I'm going to move him up here by my arrow. And I'm going to leave him like he is right now, facing the way he's facing. But I am going to right click on him and copy. And I will go to my second slide and paste. I'll move him down here to the arrow, by the arrow. This time I'm going to rotate him a little bit. So I want him to maybe look at me. And then I'll go to the third slide and paste again. I'm going to rotate him so it looks like he's looking down or something. And move him to the left of the arrow. Okay. So I've copied my arrow. I've moved the position and I've changed the color. And now I have inserted a model and I've moved its position and I've changed its direction. All right, so the last step, I hope you're all with me. If you're not with me, holler in and say, slow down. Good, you're all with me. All right, so last step, what we're going to do over here is I want you to select all three of these. So click on the first one, hold your control key down, and select the other two slides. Once you have all three of those selected, go up to transitions, and it should be the first one up here called morph. All right, now go back to the first slide and go down here. You can either hit F5 on your keyboard or you can hit activate presentation. And when you push your advanced arrow button, you'll notice that it changes the color of your arrow and it rotates the chimpanzee. So it figures out when you're going from one point to the next how to move those things, and it does it really smooth. Like, is that cool? I mean, you could have just a fly-in kind of object, and you can do that with fly-in as an animation. But this one, you can do multiple things at the same time, and it will figure out what, it's kind of called keyframing. It figures out what's going on in between point A and point B, and it does it for you. So the example that I had on the slideshow that I had gotten was somebody was displaying all of the planets. And so they would pop one big planet up as a big picture with information. And then when they would push the arrow key, it would get smaller and slide down in order while the next one came in. And so it's just a cooler way of zooming from one thing to the next. You can add as many objects as you want, but you don't have to sit there and do individual animation on each one of them. If you think that's a cool thing, can you give me a yay or that's cool or anything? Are you there? I can't even tell if you're all there. Okay.
Yay.
So, yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. That's kind of the gist of all the new stuff in PowerPoint and in Word. And so final thing here, let me copy the sign in. I'm going to put this in the comments section right up here. And you should see it now. So if you go to chat, go to chat, you should see the address to sign in that you took my class. Get that in there, and as soon as everybody gets it in, I just save it as a PDF and send it off to Dr. Brenner right off the bat so she knows you were here. Thank you for taking the class. And again, don't forget that PowerPoint is also a graphics creator. You know, besides, I still say it's way better than Google Presentation, and I prefer it over Google Presentation. And you can put PowerPoints into Canvas. That's not a problem. You can still do that. So, you know, don't forget to use it and stuff like that. So, hey, thanks for taking my class and have a great rest of your day.